A short disclaimer. If you've ever looked at a woman with tattoos and wondered, is she trouble or a blessing? Then sit tight, because this is the kind of clarity you won't get scrolling through Instagram comments or dating apps. I'm your dating coach in this maze, and today, on Be Stoic, I'm going to break down the 6 risks of dating a woman with tattoos, according to studies. And I'm going to do it straight, without sugarcoating a single detail. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to interpret the signals, and how a man with clarity and boundaries can turn potential red flags into a path of confidence and power. Let's start with a question. Be honest. Have you ever been intrigued by a woman's tattoos? That sudden curiosity that pulls you in, but at the same time, something in your gut whispers, wait, is this going to be more complicated than I want? That gut instinct exists for a reason. It's your internal compass warning you about friction that might come later. Tattoos aren't inherently bad, but studies show that there are patterns that affect compatibility, long-term stability, and emotional dynamics. And I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to empower you. The first risk you need to understand is the values mismatch. Research consistently shows that individuals who choose visible tattoos often express higher openness to experience. They're adventurous, sometimes impulsive, and often challenge societal norms. Now, don't get me wrong, adventurous isn't automatically bad. But if your lifestyle is more structured, career-focused, or you value predictability, this mismatch can create subtle but persistent tension. Imagine this. You're planning a calm weekend at home. She's texting about a last-minute road trip or an underground music festival she discovered. It's exciting, yes, but over time, if your core values don't align, it can feel exhausting. The joke here is that adventure is fun until it's your bank account, your mental energy, or your sleep schedule paying the price. So recognize this early. A man who knows his values doesn't bend for chaos. He decides that the adventure fits his life. The second risk, and this one hits deeper than just lifestyle, is past trauma or emotional baggage associated with certain tattoos. Some tattoos carry meaning, memorials, or marks of personal pain. Studies suggest that women with certain types of tattoos may have higher instances of past adverse experiences, including emotional trauma. Now, before you panic, this doesn't mean every woman with tattoos is damaged or unstable, but it's crucial to approach with awareness. The risk lies in how unresolved trauma shows up in a relationship. Sudden mood swings, trust issues, or difficulty communicating about intimacy. Think about it. If a woman's tattoo represents a past heartbreak or chaotic chapter, it's not the tattoo itself. It's how that past is being carried into your present. A man with boundaries recognizes these patterns and asks questions, not in a prying way, but to understand whether she's ready to build, not just relive history. Now, let's talk about the third risk, societal and family judgment. You might be thinking, wait, that's on them, not me. True, but here's the twist. Judgment has a ripple effect. Studies show that visible tattoos in women can influence perceptions in professional settings, social groups, and even within families. You might meet resistance, subtle or overt. Colleagues might question her professionalism. Friends or family might silently disapprove. And guess what? That friction can spill over into your relationship. It's not just a social inconvenience. It can test patience' resilience and conflict management. Here's the Stoic twist. It's not about controlling other people's opinions. It's about choosing a woman whose life friction aligns with your capacity to handle it. Ask yourself, can I deal with this calmly, or will it gnaw at me over time? The fourth risk is trust and long-term stability concerns. Some studies indicate that women with multiple visible tattoos may, statistically speaking, have higher rates of relationship instability in the past. Again, this isn't universal. I'm not saying every tattooed woman is a risk, but as a man who values clarity, stability, and emotional investment, you need to pay attention to patterns. Tattoos can be an expression of independence, rebellion, or self-expression, all great qualities. But if independence becomes detachment or rebellion becomes a pattern of testing boundaries, it can impact your ability to trust fully. So the question is she self-aware? Can she navigate her independence while building a stable partnership? That's the metric, not the ink. The fifth risk, communication style differences. This one sneaks up on men more than anything else. Studies and anecdotal data alike show that women who embrace visible tattoos often adopt bold, assertive, and sometimes unconventional communication styles. This can be amazing, no games, direct expression, honesty. But it can also clash with men who are more reserved, conflict avoidant, or traditional in their approach. Picture a heated disagreement. She's direct, unfiltered, ready to address conflict immediately. If your natural reaction is to retreat or overthink, tension rises. A man with stoic clarity doesn't panic. He either adapts with integrity or recognizes misalignment early. Rhetorical question time. Have you ever dated someone who spoke their mind so boldly that it threw you off balance? If yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The sixth risk is peer perception and external attention. Let's be honest. Tattoos attract attention. Not everyone admires, but they get noticed. Studies indicate that tattooed women often receive more external validation or flirtatious attention from others. This doesn't automatically mean a problem exists, but it can trigger insecurity, ego tests, or emotional reactions if a man isn't grounded. The modern Stoic approach? Awareness and confidence. You don't control her attention. You control your response. A man who knows his worth doesn't get jealous over every glance, but he also evaluates if the dynamics around her attention align with his relationship expectations. Now, here's where Be Stoic really comes in. I'm not here to leave you in fear or hesitation. These 6 risks aren't roadblocks. They're tools for clarity. A man who understands values mismatch, trauma awareness, social friction, stability patterns, communication style, and external attention is a man who navigates relationships intentionally. You get to see early warning signs, ask the right questions, and decide with confidence whether this woman fits your life, or she's a fascinating experience best admired from a distance. Let's translate that into practical strategy. First, ask about values, lifestyle, and long-term goals early, not in an interrogation style, but casual conversations that reveal alignment. Second, observe emotional self-awareness. Does she reflect on past challenges constructively, or does she dwell and project them into the present? Third, notice how she reacts to social friction or judgment, resilience or defensiveness. Fourth, pay attention to communication style. Does it complement your calm, grounded approach, or constantly trigger friction? Fifth, assess her independence and relationship consistency. Independence is admirable. Detachment isn't. Finally, observe how she handles attention. Confident composure over vanity or external validation dependence. Here's the truth. Tattoos don't make a woman good or bad. They don't define loyalty, compatibility, or long-term potential. What they do reveal are signals, patterns, and habits that a man with clarity can read. And the difference between getting burned and building a meaningful connection often comes down to how observant, grounded, and honest you are with yourself and her. Think about it. In life, every choice comes with a risk. A Stoic doesn't fear risks. He evaluates them, measures them against his values, and acts deliberately. The same applies to dating. These 6 risks, they're your roadmap. Ignore them at your peril or study them, understand them, and use them to choose wisely and strengthen your presence. And let's not forget the humor in this, because life's too short to take every tattoo as a dire warning. Some tattoos are about music, art, or funny memories. Some are bold statements of individuality. You might meet a woman with tattoos and feel your ego tingle or your curiosity spike. And that's normal. The trick is separating emotional reaction from rational evaluation. A man with Stoic clarity laughs, observes, and decides. Here's a practical example from Be Stoic's vault. Imagine meeting 2 women, one tattooed, one not. Both are stunning, both are charming. The tattooed woman is adventurous, sometimes chaotic, but honest about her past and her independence. The non-tattooed woman is calm, structured, and reliable. Which one is risky? Which one is safe? Here's the Stoic answer. Risk and safety are illusions without context. What matters is your alignment, values, and capacity to navigate the relationship intentionally. Your ego might scream safe, but your life goals might resonate more with the tattooed woman's adventurous energy. That's why clarity matters, not assumptions based on ink. So, before you judge, before you project, pause and ask yourself, do I see the patterns clearly? Do I know my own values and boundaries? Am I willing to accept risk if the reward aligns with my life vision? That's a power move. That's emotional intelligence. That's modern stoicism applied to dating. Another point worth noting. Studies also suggest that couples who openly discuss boundaries, values, and expectations before committing tend to outperform couples who don't, regardless of tattoos. So, the most powerful approach isn't avoidance. It's communication and alignment. Be honest about your lifestyle, your goals, your boundaries. Watch how she responds. Women who respect themselves and others respond with clarity, not defensiveness. And yes, Be Stoic is about teaching you to spot those responses and read between the lines. Now, let's talk long-term mindset. A man who dates with awareness treats tattoos like a feature, not a flaw. He knows that every human comes with history, patterns, and complexity. Tattoos are simply one visible element of that story. Some men obsess over them, judge prematurely, or let their ego run wild. Others, the modern Stoics, observe, assess, and decide. They don't let curiosity override logic, nor do they let fear dominate action. They stay grounded, they stay disciplined, and they remain emotionally untouchable even in the face of potential risk. By the time you finish this video, I want you to have two things. First, awareness of the 6 risks: values mismatch, trauma patterns, social judgment, trust/stability concerns, communication differences, and peer perception/attention. Second, confidence in your ability to navigate those risks, to observe, to question, and act with integrity. That's what separates men who react from men who command their lives. Before we wrap, here's the final Stoic takeaway. Tattoos are not destiny. They are signals. Signals of past experiences, personality traits, and social dynamics. A man who ignores the signals is like a sailor ignoring the winds. He will be at the mercy of forces he could have understood. A man who studies the signals, understands the patterns, and aligns with his own values is like a captain with a compass, steady, aware, and unshakable. That's Be Stoic philosophy applied to modern dating. So, the next time you meet a woman with tattoos, pause, observe, listen, ask questions that matter. Evaluate her life, her values, and how her patterns intersect with yours. And then choose deliberately. Don't be swayed by the thrill of ink or the drama of attraction. Be stoic in your decision-making. Protect your energy, your emotional clarity, and your long-term vision. Remember, these 6 risks aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to inform, empower, and sharpen your awareness. Because in dating, like in life, clarity is power. Boundaries are strength. Emotional control is freedom. And a man who understands patterns, risks, and human behavior, that man walks into every relationship untouchable. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Tattoos don't define danger. Lack of awareness does. Know the risks, set the boundaries, and engage with intention. That's how a modern Stoic navigates relationships, with wisdom, strength, and presence. And as always, on Be Stoic, I'm here to give you that clarity so you never settle, never overreact, and always move with purpose. Now go out there, observe the signals, honor your boundaries, and remember, attraction is simple, but alignment is everything. The right mindset doesn't just avoid risk. It converts potential challenges into strength, confidence, and mastery over your own life. This is Be Stoic, and now you're armed with the insight to handle dating women with tattoos with precision, clarity, and the calm confidence of a man who knows his value.